everyone. Welcome to Taking It Down. You're the YouTube viewers. If you're watching this part, you're the YouTube viewers. Thanks. I am curious to know who the YouTube viewers are. That we do have a few from the video feed. Each week we do, even on YouTube, we drop an audio only feed. It just has the logo. You listen. There's nothing to see. And then we drop the video version, which is what you can see with me talking to you right now, and Donovan's with me. I'm going to be really, really curious. If you're not shy, let us know who you are. And you're not going to offend me. You know, type in, hey, I just wanted to hear the Secret Invasion part. So let us know. And welcome.
Do you link from our OnlyFans to YouTube?
We don't have an OnlyFans. Did you mean to say that?
We don't have an OnlyFans?
We don't have an OnlyFans. I know
How
you're
are you
disappointed.
keeping this thing going?
I mean, we have almost every other social media.
What did you want all those pictures for?
Taking It Down, the podcast, is on Threads, which I kind of like. We're on Twitter, which we might delete, could. And we're on Instagram, just like. And we have a Facebook group, which is kind of just sits there a little. We'd like for people to go in and be like, hey, I'm watching Saul 10. I'm watching here. I'm watching Saul 10. Can we discuss?
Have you, this just popped in my head. Have you watched any of the new season of What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You want to talk about it?
We can. I'm all caught up except for yesterday, or this week's. So I've seen the first 3.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. We'll keep that in our YouTube part in just a second. I do want to do a little housekeeping before I forget. So we got 2 things, and then we'll do What We Do in the Shadows. Little housekeeping. This is August 1st, if you're watching Day Of. And if you are watching Day Of, I really am curious if anybody watches Day Of. Why? Because those numbers, I see the numbers. I just don't see who you are. If you're watching August 1st, we will not have a podcast. We're taking August off. If you're a loyal listener, you know I'm a teacher. So I'm dealing with the beginning of an academic year, getting ready for that. I want to see how that's going to feel. My daughter's birthday's in August, so I'd like to reserve a weekend for her thoroughly. Just a lot going on. Adam and Natalie aren't here. If you've noticed, they are in Europe. We want them to get back, to get settled in, to watch some things.
Not me. So, I hope they stay over there.
Oh, I thought you meant not me. I'm not in Europe.
Oh, I'm not in Europe either.
Yeah. So what we'll do is August 1st, and our next podcast will be the last week in August. Apologies. Please don't forget about us. We're not going away forever. We're just taking a big old break, and much needed, I think. We've done several weeks in a row, so we do take breaks every now and again. Not that big of one, but we just need it. Forgive us, but we're here for you. We'll still be online a little bit. Taking It Down. You know, I'll still be online some. The Alabama Take will too. And the other bit of housekeeping, Donovan, it's time to reward someone a tasty dilly bar.
How do we afford the postage if we don't have an OnlyFans? I'm still stuck on this.
How do we afford anything? How do we afford site upkeep? I mean, we really need to do a donation drive one week. But Donovan, do you have anybody in mind for Listener of the Week?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Listener of the Week,
HP Love Cat.
HP Love Cat. He's a cat. Does he allow dairy?
No, none of the cats are. Absolutely not.
Then you will eat it for him.
I'll eat the dilly bar.
Once again, you swindled someone out of a dilly bar. Well, our Listener of the Week only lasts Memorial Day to Labor Day, the 100 days of summer. Who will it be next time? I've almost said next week. It won't be in next week. Let's.
That sounds ominous.
I do want
next week.
Not for us, not for this podcast.
But not for us, not for anyone.
Let's give it to T.D. Wood.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
Is that good?
Yeah.
I just love TD, man.
TD should have it.
TD,
My cat
is
dairy.
Yeah, your cat doesn't. I don't want to waste it on HP Love Cat, though. I do love HP. He's one of your better cats.
Much better.
Yeah. We're going to give it to TD Wood. He's the host of Taking on Sports. He is one of the founders of the Alabama Take. He and I will. Hey, speaking of that last week in August, he and I will be resurrecting our betting column. So fun to do. Every Friday around 6 p.m., we give you what you should bet on the next day. It's fun.
I can't wait for that.
God, I
honestly do look forward to it.
Do you really read it?
Yeah, I read it.
I do too. I mean, I read TDs because I don't know what he's going to write either.
No, it's fun getting y'all's picks.
This year, Mallory is going to join. Mallory, the new host of the Stare Down, the female-led podcast for sports and interviews. She's going to be
better and better.
Gonna kill us. She's going to kill us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to lose your shirts.
Oh, I've got to do an ad read. Taking It Down is brought to you by Dairy Queen, DQ, where the dilly bar is something you can always eat or put in your butt. DQ, grill, and then, if you have no options, chill. Dairy Queen. Find one near you and enjoy a dilly bar in your butt. There we go. Just wanted to read that. Could you tell I was reading, or did it come off natural?
No, it came off real natural.
That's what I was thinking.
But you are going to get a cease and desist over that.
I hope so. That would be such a goal, wouldn't it? We're going to talk about what we do in the shadows. I don't have really anything prepared. We brought it up when it began. This season began. We talked about the first week, and we're almost caught up. It's a good season.
I was just thinking my comments are probably brief, but each episode has been incredibly solid. Each actor gets to do they just are taking their characters as far as it could possibly go. I believe the season, I mentioned this to you already, the season's biggest innovation is putting Colin Robinson in the service industry.
I'm going to spoil a minor thing. I'm caught up. It's on my mind. It's so fresh. I watched it last night in the most recent episode. Colin Robinson is now running for comptroller.
Against Mike?
No. I mean, the opening, I'm spoiling a little, but the opening line of the episode says that Sean, it's Sean.
That's right, Sean, not Mike.
Sean can't run because apparently you can't run for comptroller in Staten Island if you've had 9 DUIs. If you've had 8 or less. That is, I mean, what a gag that is. Just that one line. If you've had 9 DUIs, that's it.
I absolutely, and it was like it was the slow burn joke of the Pride Parade episode, right? And there's lots of good stuff happening, like Nandor absolutely nailing the line. I can tell when I'm not wanted, and this is not one of those times. Just nailing it.
I mean, every one of these characters are getting a time to shine. I would argue that Guillermo's been pushed a little to the side,
a little bit,
just a little.
But he gets great scenes with Matt Berry, which I'm enjoying very much.
Mm-hmm. He's just not a big part of this most recent episode, and like I said, it's fresh on my mind.
Yeah,
very good episode. Very, very good episode. You learn things about energy vampires, and that's just a avenue they haven't been down much, and I was excited.
There was a gag that absolutely made me think of Adam in the one with the third episode where Nadja's doll possesses Nadja's body and wants to have sex with Colin Robinson. And that's when he gets up. He's like, little music to set the mood, and it's Dave Matthews Band.
Yes. Adam, our co-host, who's usually here, it was used to be big Dave Matthews fan when he was, like everyone, when they were 16 or 15 or whatever. I don't know if he would claim them now. I don't know. He might. I don't know. He might have a wistful part of his heart in for Dave Matthews.
Sort of yearning for days of yore.
The season's just working phenomenally. It's one of those they could keep going. They're really not going to be in danger of ruining their time. They're not going to be in danger of me getting tired of it or viewers, I don't think, because they can just open up a little bit more of a personality or a little bit more about the history of vampires or energy vampires or take your pick. And it's just, I don't think they're going to settle the whole Guillermo maybe not being a vampire this season. So that's another season you could do.
Yeah, so their funny cast is just so good at working together too. Like at this point, It's obvious they're very comfortable with each other. Mm-hmm. They bounce off each other really well, and Matt Berry's a treasure.
And I mentioned in that first episode, even Christian Shaw, her comedy just alone, her stand-up kind of thing, or when she's doing things by herself, never have worked for me, but she's good in this ensemble.
Mm-hmm. She is.
Yeah. I don't know that I have a lot to add. Really good season. There are some really laugh out loud moments this season. There always are.
I mean, it was the slow burning gag, but Laszlo being like, "I'm building the parade float," and then it turns out it's just his car decked out with a trailer, pulling Guillermo holding a sign that says "Gay Boy" in Guillermo's first Pride Parade.
And they never make a scene of it. You just see it in the parade later. Sean has. I think it hit me that Sean is on like YouTube or other places. The actor who plays him doing a lot of Trump impressions.
Really?
And it really. Well, I was going to say it really came out when he was trying to campaign.
Yes.
Some of his Trumpisms. Yeah, so I think that actor has done a lot of Trump impressions online, or maybe in a show somewhere. But I'm almost thinking it's solely YouTube or TikTok or somewhere. He's funny in his role as just the drunken neighbor who stays so goddamn drunk he doesn't even know they're vampires.
He cannot figure out that Laszlo's a vampire.
And it helps that Colin Robinson can come out during the day and kind of mix it up, which happens in the most recent one. So if you haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, we did spoil a few gags there, but my goodness. You've
Such a thumbs up.
What do we have? Four seasons now?
Yeah, I think this is the 4th season.
And they come out. They're pretty good at coming out one a year. COVID might have hindered that just a little, but not badly. They're good. 4 seasons of What We Do in the Shadows. It's on Hulu. Watch it. My goodness, watch it if only to see Colin Robinson run around as a toddler.
Daddy like you with Daddy likey.
All right, let's get into the real show. I say the real show. Let's get into the audio version of the show. This will be our audio. If you listen to audio only, there's a YouTube version of this show that's video, and you can just see us or not. You could just play it and like minimize it, whatever you do. This is our audio version, and I'll give you the housekeeping we did at the top of the YouTube video. This is August 1st, Tuesday, August 1st, if you're listening day of. We will not have a show until the last week in August. It's August 29th or something like that. I'll edit this out. Don't worry. I do want to look at a calendar. Yeah, it's August 29th. So August 1st, if you listen day of, hey, if you listen day of or listen at all, who are you? We want to know. All we see are numbers. And I'm very serious. Just let me know. Message me, message Donovan, DM us on Instagram or Threads Threads doesn't have a DM yet. That was a complaint. Twitter, we might be there a little bit while longer. We'll be back August 29th. We're taking most of the month of August off because I am a high school teacher trying to get ready for an academic year, and I'm excited about it, honestly. I think it'll be a good one. If any of my students are listening, I am honestly excited. And my daughter's birthday is in the middle of August, and we like to devote a full weekend day or longer, so that's in the middle of there. Just not going to be around much in August. That does not mean that this podcast is gone or shuttering the door. The Alabama Take will be around, as a whole. That's the website where you can read the essays. You can see where the other podcasts are posting and read their show notes there and see their links. Figure out where you want to listen to them. I suggest you follow the Alabama Take wherever you want. The Alabama Take's in more social media spots than just Taking It Down pod. Anyway, little housekeeping. If you don't watch the YouTube video, you miss Listener of the Week and why they won. I want to start very briefly. All of our segments this week are going to be brief. We're going to do 3. We're going to do 3 brief ones. I want to start with Secret Invasion. And Donovan, did you ever go back and watch any more Secret Invasion?
I'm not caught up at all on it. Just because I was moving when it was coming out, and I just I've watched other things instead. So I've still only seen the first episode.
That's fair. You see, Donovan had a move. We've been busy this summer, and that's okay. But the show ended last week, and the online banter was extreme, if you ask me, about the finale.
Really?
Yes, and the more I dug into it, the more I feel like they made okay points. But at first, I always get really disjointed or have some discognizance about when I'm sitting there watching and my cell phone's, you know, on the desk over on the other side of the room or something like that, turned upside down, or I'm watching, I'm soaking it in, and when it's over, I think to myself, "Oh, that was pretty good. That wasn't that bad." And then I grab my phone, dig around, and I find that everyone hated it. Does that ever happen to you? And you wonder, what did I miss?
Yeah, I've actually found, like, it kind of goes. Sometimes it goes both ways. Like, usually I'm like, I liked it or I didn't like it. But like sometimes, like a good review or a really insightful piece can make me like something I didn't like very much more. And then the same thing, like if I was like, well, that was fine, and then I read like something pointing out a bunch of flaws, I'm like, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So what was so what's so divisive? What was so bad about it?
Okay. Well, the ones that I thought were silly and immature and fanboy were the first ones I saw. And those were, well, they didn't tie in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and this would have been the perfect opportunity. And I'm just like, dudes, that ship sailed.
Yeah, no one really liked that show anyway.
I kind of did. I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was fine. I watched it every week. I actually look forward to it every week. I thought it was actually quite fine. Got a little better as it went. I get that complaint just a tiny bit. It does make sense to try to bring in maybe one or two of those characters. The Coulson character could come, you know. He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., brought back. You know, they had a story about how he survived and everything. There's a superhero or two who could really work in the MCU, the cinematic universe. So some of the complaints are okay, but it's also unrealistic to think that's going to happen. They're done with that. That's not like a Daredevil, where that's a pretty major character. The actor is a B-level kind of guy. You can rope in for several movies and have some good acting out of him. Anyway, those were stupid. I thought.
Agreed. Disney has no interest in early MCU stuff at this point.
No, they don't, and that's to be understood. Those were delusional. The more intellectual critiques, I thought, said the show didn't do much of anything. That they had a budget of, I think it's almost the same as Civil War, but yet only had a few really explosive and propulsive fight scenes. That's true, which is fine to me. I don't think you have to have that. But the argument was, if you're spending that kind of money, where's it going? Like, where did it go? And as it turns out, the more digging I did was that the show had a month of reshoots, or just a little over a month, which you could almost refilm the whole thing.
That's almost never a good sign, too, right? Like,
sometimes it's
really
not.
Went off the rails.
Yeah. Big complaints on how it ended. Some of the things I won't spoil. A lot of sitting around, they complained, which I am okay with that if the acting's good. And Olivia Colman and Samuel L. Jackson, I thought, did such good jobs that I never even paid attention if they were sitting down or not. It was just, but when you start putting that price tag on it, it's a fair question. What are you doing with that kind of money? It's got a really low score on Rotten Tomatoes. We know that's neither here nor there some of the time. It can point to something, you know, if it's like low.
Yes, like if we're in the 30s or something like that,
and it was,
something's gone wrong.
I just think it's very funny. It's a funny intellectual exercise. It's a funny thinking exercise to watch something and go, "Oh, I was entertained by that. That was fine. That kind of everything kind of made sense, didn't it? Yeah, it made sense. I'm okay with what happened, and I was entertained." And then you get up, you pick up your phone, and everything's like, "Fuck this! It was horrible." And then you read the more critical style of thinking, and they're like, where did $215 million go? And you think, oh, I'd be interested. Hey, Natalie and I covered this weekly, this show weekly, and we never had big major problems with it. And that's from me. I always bring a very critical eye to things. I think I don't ever rate anything too high, and I was moderately satisfied. Natalie never complained. She brings a very MCU kind of comic book eye to, excuse me, not MCU, comic book Marvel eye to things, and she had no problems with it. She thought she thought they were pulling off the spy thriller thing. I didn't think they were quite pulling off the spy thriller thing as well as it was just well acted, and it was fine. So it's where am I landing on it? I still think it's okay.
Okay.
Because of the acting.
They did.
Ben Kingsley Adair, he's fantastic. If that guy turns into a major star in 5 or 10 years and he's winning an Oscar, I wouldn't be surprised. He played Malcolm X in that movie.
Yeah, he did. I loved him in that.
Exactly. See, your reaction there tells me.
That connection right there.
Your reaction tells me how good he is.
He's good.
He went into that role, and you don't remember.
That movie was good, but he was my favorite part of that movie. He was excellent.
Mine too. He's a good actor, and he plays a villain so well. I hope to see him in more villainous roles in the future, and maybe not necessarily a comic book, but drama where he's kind of a mean person.
Mm-hmm.
In High Fidelity on Hulu, it was a 1-season show. He played the hunky boyfriend.
Oh, did he? I did not know that. I never watched. I only saw ads for it, so I feel like I watched it because I saw
with Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah,
it's the female version of High Fidelity.
Yeah,
and he played one of the hunky boyfriends. He was fantastic. He played New York hunky guy. He might have been British in it too, but anyway, I don't know. Secret Invasion. There were big complaints about the showrunner was told to read the comic book. He had to be told to read it. Like he had never read it.
Okay. Interesting.
And this complaint seems fair because of the explanation. The explanation was, it's okay to read the comic book and decide, no, I don't want to use hardly any of that. I'm going to go a different direction. It's not okay just not to ever read it and then come in and try to make a show.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You have, well, I mean, it does seem kind of silly, right? Because like you're using, like part of the reason some people will watch is because they're like, okay, I know what Secret Invasion is in the comics. Now I want to see how it fulfills or subverts my expectations in the show. And you can't really do that if you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea about the source material.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably fine, right? Like they didn't really stick super close to the Secret Invasion comic, like some of the same broad strokes. So maybe, if he didn't ever read it and just had it his own, it would probably have been fine. But I'm more on the side of just read it. It's a comic book. How long does it take?
Mm-hmm. Secret Invasion supposedly going to bleed into Secret Wars, a movie.
Yes.
I assumed that might be where the material is really used. Look, I don't know. When I watched it, I thought, hey, this is fine. This was 38 minutes of fine. So let's move into another show. This is one on Max. It's streaming. I think 5 episodes are up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't watched it, but it's my goal too. I'm really excited to watch it. It's just carving out some time. It's something we might get into when we return from our hiatus. We'll see, though. Little focus, spoiler-free focus for the most part, on the new Steven Soderbergh work on Max called Full Circle. Star-studded cast, 5 episodes streaming. We're not going to spoil much, if at all. I know that this show's about a kidnapping.
Yes.
In New York. Am I right about the New York setting?
Yeah, it's in New York.
That's really all I know. Kidnapping, probably a wealthy family, New York. That's it.
That's all you really need to know. First off, let me say, I've seen 2 episodes. I'm hooked. Really started out a little slow, but it's for me. But that was more like, oh, it's a slow burn. So yeah, there's a kidnapping, and all you really need to know is that there's a kidnapping and something goes wrong. And already in the first 2 episodes, there's kind of all these different people who are their stories kind of mix up and interweave with each other, and full explanations are not necessarily given. You're just kind of along for, like, you can see sort of what some folks are up to, and some people are their motivations are not particularly murky, but it doesn't it just kind of, you're just kind of along for the ride. Yeah, it was great. I loved the first 2 episodes.
For some reason, I'm thinking about a show I finished watching on Apple TV Plus, City on Fire. It was a 2004 setting of New York. Not quite kidnapping, but there's so many various characters of socioeconomic status intermingling, and you can't figure out their connection until you watch more. That show fell off a steep cliff. About, I think it was 7 episodes, around episode 4.5, it could not make up for some of the characters' really dumb decisions. And I wondered that after watching the first episode. I might have said it on this show where I was like, this show is going to be good if you can tolerate stupid decisions from characters. And I could for a couple episodes, but then it just, you could no more. What about, you talk about something went wrong? Is it because of a character's dumb decision, or is it because of circumstances?
It's circumstance and mischance, and maybe it's like not the most realistic thing in the world that could have happened. But I was like, if this is the inciting incident, I'll go along with it, because it sets up what continues to go wrong throughout the show.
Vulture.com labeled it as one of the better shows of the summer. One of the best
definitely.
shows. Okay. Now, the cast, we got Claire Danes.
Oh, she's great.
Isn't she?
Yeah, she really is good.
Last time I saw her, she was in the Hulu show, another New York-based show called Fleischman is in Trouble.
Oh, the one with Jesse Eisenberg?
Yes.
Okay.
I loved that show a lot. Is Timothy Oliphant in this show?
Yes, he is. He's the dad.
Is he the... Okay.
I think he is anyway. Unless I'm really getting him mixed up with someone else.
In full honesty, I sat down last night, hit play on the show, got exactly 1 minute into it, and I mean 1 minute into it, and my wife and daughter walked in the room from a wedding, and I was like, oh, okay, well, let me help with you guys. Let me get my daughter to bed and everything, and I never went back to it. So I thought I saw his picture or name.
Yeah.
Is he married to Claire Danes in the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They're parents of the
kidnapping.
The kidnapped kid. Or I won't say more than that.
No, don't.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, very excited.
And
I'm going to do some catching up over the hiatus. What else can you tell me that wouldn't spoil anything?
So, just the other thing that stood out to me is just like Soderbergh at this point in his career really knows how to make a dang movie or TV show. It just looks good. It is interesting. There's always something worth noting, even if there's not like dialogue or even characters in it. There's something going on.
That's why I watch TV there.
He just makes a good movie at this point. He's very deft. I think that handling different characters and juggling them and different storylines and different things like that could be tough for a director, but he makes it seem easy. I'm sure it's not.
Where are you on Steven Soderbergh? Are a fan? Just know his work? What? Where are you with him?
I think that I often end up appreciating his stuff more than I end up liking his stuff.
Oh, really?
Because he's often like it always seems like he makes a movie to try out something. Like he's trying out an idea, and if it doesn't completely work, he's like, "That's fine. I'll just make another movie."
That's true about him.
Yeah, but I liked. I'm trying to think of anything other than Contagion because I really liked Contagion.
Contagion's
and Traffic
great.
is good too.
Ocean's 11.
Didn't love it.
Wow. Well, there's your juggling different characters.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's not bad. It's
I loved Ocean's 11.
I thought it was fine.
I loved Ocean's 11 because but I also really like Brad Pitt getting to do Brad Pitt stuff. Standing around eating peanuts, while reciting dialogue. That's such a Brad Pitt thing, and I love it. Soderbergh did The Nick, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's Soderbergh. You were a big fan of The Nick off of Cinemax.
Really liked it. Yeah, HP.
It was
see
Cinemax.
If I can get this right. I think Cinemax is owned by HBO, or at least was correct at the time. And so they put this first season of The Nick on HBO to try and get people to subscribe to Cinemax.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah, that's how I missed it. I've heard nothing but praise for The Nick. Soderbergh's also did Logan Lucky.
Oh, that one was good. I forgot about
it. It was
that
good.
I liked that one a lot.
I want to say the word simple. That's not fair. But I was going to say a simple caper. But it's not. It's a caper, but it's just a goofy kind of.
It's super goofy. It was super fun.
Daniel Craig as a Southerner. Kind of weird, but
I love prefiguring his role as Benoit Blanc.
Right, not that kind of Southerner, but more of the backwoods Southerner.
Yes,
hillbilly kind of guy. Very funny for him. I really like Soderbergh. He's one of these directors that is good. When you see his name attached to something and you're on the fence about watching it, it might help you end up watching it. But I never can just pin down exactly what it is that makes him great.
I think for me, it is like he's always trying and doing something different, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's not satisfied, maybe is the right word. Like he's not, just like in his rut and his groove, pumping out Magic Mike sequels until the sun goes out.
That's right. He did Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Sex, Lies, and Videotape was his first foray into stardom. He got a lot of critical praise for that movie, which I'd never seen. I was at an age where being drawn to it was just because of the title.
Yeah, of course. I've never actually seen it. I know that I should. I know
who's in it. Do you even know?
Breakout. No idea off the top of my head.
Me either. It was really
like 94 or something, 95,
or maybe 92.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty old. So he's been around for a while. Steven Soderbergh does something that I also do in a way. He, at the end of the year, I think somewhere he might keep a webpage or something where he releases everything he read and watched. And I love that so much. I do the same, which helps me to create my end of the year list for the Alabama Take on my favorite shows. I don't do movies because I don't watch quite enough like he does. But he does movies. I don't think he ranks them. I think he just lists them. I rank mine. I keep it with what I read on Goodreads, and I also star them. Just not to be pretentious or anything, or not that I think my opinion matters, because I don't think anybody looks at my Goodreads. I just do it so that 2 years from now, I can go back and go, what did I think about Fleischman is in Trouble when I read it? What did I think about that? Because now they're making a show of it. What did I think about it when I initially read it? And I can't tell you how many times people will go, hey, can you recommend me a book? What have you read in the last 6 months that was good? And I'll pull up my Goodreads, and you can make the list go by star, how much you've starred them, top to bottom or worst to best or whatever. And I'll go, oh yeah, I really loved Tender as the Flesh or whatever, and I can recommend it.
Yeah, I do that with my Goodreads too. Like, because like as soon as someone asks, like, "What's something good that you read?" I'm like, "I've never read a book before. I have no idea."
It's like you've
But
never
then
read.
but I keep it on Goodreads so I can pull that out and then look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, I like this one."
I wish we could be sponsored by Goodreads because it's my favorite social media app.
My favorite, and it's barely a social media app. My favorite is Library Thing.
Whoa,
because
this
they have
is new to me.
Oh, have you ever heard of
Never heard
Library
of it.
Thing? So it's basically it's like a little you can catalog your own books. Basically, just make a little catalog record. I use it because I found myself liking books so much that I would buy them twice. So I put everything in there so I could see what I had. But it also has a compare library function. You can be like friends with people and see what books they own. You can have libraries that are similar to yours.
So it's the equivalent of Discogs. Are you familiar with the app inside Discogs? Which is the same thing for records.
Yep. Yeah, it's very much like that.
There's where I'm guilty. I'll get in a record store and I'll go, "Oh, Chris Christopherson. It's only $3. It's gently used." And I'll have to pull up my Discogs and go, "Oh, I already have this record.
Yeah.
I can't buy it. I shouldn't buy it again." Yeah. Okay, fair. We got a little off tangent, but full circle. Anything else you want to add? Full circle. You're 2 episodes deep.
Go watch it. I'm gonna finish this one. I'm hooked.
Is it a 10-episode series?
I have no idea.
I kind of hope it is.
I'll watch it as long as it goes.
I kind of hope it is because I that would let us be able to cover it as a whole when we return from a break.
Something is making me think, no, that can't be right. No, don't listen to me. I was thinking 6, but then with the amount of episodes they put out, that can't be right.
The beauty of the audio is you won't know I did this. The beauty of YouTube is that you can see me looking up how many episodes it is.
Watch us frantically Googling.
Oh gosh, it's only going to be 6 episodes.
Okay, it is okay. Oh, okay. And they've got what, 4 or 5 out now? I honestly can't remember
right now.
Yeah.
Another television show has returned. How To with John Wilson came out Friday or Thursday night. Haven't you watched that?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was waiting for... I thought you had something more.
No, this isn't a segment. I was just thinking.
Yeah, I have. I haven't watched the new season.
No, me either. It's only 1 episode out so far.
And it's funny, like, there are 30-minute episodes.
Give or take, yeah.
And this is going to sound like a complaint, and I don't think it really is. But they always feel longer than 30 minutes to me. Because he does a lot of different things.
Because he dives so in depth in 30 minutes or 35 minutes, and you get a lot out of what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's supposedly his last season.
Oh, he's only going to... What is the third? This is the third?
Yeah, this is it. He's going to move on to something else.
Good for him. I mean,
yeah, for real.
Do something... I thought it was clever, and there's some gags that I still... Having recently gone through the process of getting a mortgage and understanding none of it.
No.
I loved the bit where he's trying to get a mortgage, and to prove that he is financially sound, he's just trying to film people watching his show through the windows. He's just trying to catch people watching How To.
I think the cornerstone of the emotion, the pathos of the show is his relationship with this older landlady that he visits and has dinner with. It's a tender relationship, mother-son almost vibe.
Yeah.
Grandmother's, I would say grandmother.
Yeah, grandmother's like
Even
grandson is what I get, definitely.
And it's very precious. And he doesn't exploit it to be like in every episode or anything. It's just natural. It's very organic. It's natural.
Yep.
John Wilson's a weird guy, but he's weird in a fun way. I won't ever forget when he visits the CEO or owner of Bang Energy Drink.
That is such a weird and great episode.
What a roller coaster that episode is. You think he's going to get kicked out at any moment, but the guy kind of embraces him and shows him around. It's bizarre. I said that already. How To with John Wilson, the third season just started. 1 episode out. We can recommend that. It's a odd documentary.
I will definitely recommend this 3rd season. Sight unseen.
Unseen.
Putting my reputation on the line.
Yeah. with our 3 listeners.
Yeah.
Our anonymous 3 listeners, we never know who you are.
Our secret listeners.
The reason why it's called How To is each episode is How To blank. And you think, okay, whatever. It's very banal. How to renovate a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, if you went into it completely blind, you would probably go, let me figure out how to renovate a kitchen. And then it ends up being about the relationship between man and neighbor, and how, it's just this really in-depth social look at who we are as people.
Yeah.
As humans. And I appreciate it so much.
It's so funny because he's so good at creating or finding situations and then just kind of observing and letting the folks that it totally works as a documentary because he finds people doing interesting things or weird things or whatever, and then he interacts with them and films it.
I'm no John Wilson. I think that's fair to say. But I can do that when I'm feeling really good and I'm spiritually fit. Mm-hmm. I feel as though I can go out in the world and see a man buy a book, and I'll think on a much deeper level, oh, this is telling me blah, 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 blah about my life. And I love this show because of that. Adam's a big fan of this show. I think we can speak for Adam.
Yes. Because y'all watched it before I did, and you both really liked it, and then I watched it. And
there you go.
Thumbs up.
Adam's probably a big fan of the show because there is a scene where a man is, he has a device that helps his penis. And it is explicitly shown. It's played for laughs, but it's also very original that this guy exists. And you can go to his site and buy this device.
Love it.
What's he trying to do? Build back his foreskin?
Something like that. I forget what it was.
But it's also so funny. Anyway, How To with John Wilson.
Good stuff.
We love it. We love John Wilson. We'll send each other tweets where people have actually seen him out filming. It's classic. Let's take a break. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit about Oppenheimer. Spoiler free, too. This is a spoiler free show. We're in a break. Our YouTube people don't really get a break. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, can I give them a little preview of Oppenheimer? I saw a tweet that's been living in my... Are you going to
fart in the camera?
No, I saw this tweet I've just been chewing over for a while. This guy was like, so mad that Oppenheimer didn't come back out in the 90s. If it had, we probably would have had a Burger King tie-in called Woppenheimer. Sad that this country is too woke for that now. I've just been like, Woppenheimer is all I can think of now.
You know that Burger King commercial that's got the catchy song?
No.
I mean, it's like, I would sing it, but I don't know the words. I saw someone put on Instagram that back during the Grammys, that it should be Song of the Year. Anyway, they were right. It's pretty catchy. All right.
I don't remember that. I'm sure if you sang it or something, I know.
It's like, I can't even get the melody. Okay. Hey, we're back from a break. Thank you so much for hanging around. We're going to talk Oppenheimer from Christopher Nolan. We're going to do it spoiler free. I don't know if there are details you could spoil. There are certain framing devices I could spoil. They're in every review if you've read a review of it. But I know a lot of people have seen this. I was looking on Letterboxd Friday evening, and a lot of the people I know have seen it.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. And I could have sworn you'd seen it. I'm so sorry.
No, but before I haven't. I gotta, I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen Barbie yet, so I'll share my thoughts on both of them when I see them.
A little trivia for people: my daughter and wife are at Barbie right now, and I would have gone had I not been recording today.
Yeah,
I'd watch it.
complete side note, but like I read an interview with Ryan Gosling where he tries to define Kenergy. And he's just been sharing it. And then he also shared this great story where I guess he has to rollerblade in a scene and he didn't practice. He just put his rollerblades on and did it. And Margot Robbie, he's like, and of course, if Margot had done it, she would have been like rollerblading for 3 months ahead to get ready. And I didn't. And it took me a little while. And he's like, and Margot's family was on the set that day. And her aunt was like, Margot would have learned how to rollerblade.
I saw a tweet that Margot Robbie has she defeated everyone in a plank contest except for the trainer. She defeated everyone from the cast, holding it for 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Have you ever tried to do a plank?
Yes, and I did it for like 1 second, and then I died. I
foolishly said, this would be easy, like an idiot. And I said, this is going to be easy. I think I got 45 seconds in and cried. Yeah. Just openly wept as my body shut down and I defecated on myself. Don't do it, people. No, I kind of, I'm so interested in building up a plan. I don't know why. Okay. Where did we go? Okay. Barbie. Oppenheimer. Hard to talk about Oppenheimer without talking about Barbie, though.
I know, the Barbieheimer, it's a cultural phenomenon.
It is. A little annoying that Barbieheimer, I don't know, it annoys me, but hey. Because they're separate things, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And I could apologies to you before we started recording. I asked you if you'd seen Oppenheimer, or I double checked. Donovan has not seen Oppenheimer. I could have sworn he told. Dude, did you not text me and say, "Hey, I'm going to see Oppenheimer today"?
No, I didn't.
Dude, you did.
No, I did not.
I will go screenshot this shit.
I mean, if you can find it, like maybe I went insane briefly, but yeah, I haven't
got
had
the receipts, buddy.
Because I thought I was going to. What did I had to do something on Friday that I cannot now remember.
No, this was like last week. It was like opening weekend. I could have sworn you said I'm going to see it. Maybe you just meant in general.
No, I'm going to see it definitely. Yeah,
that's probably what you meant.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna find it. I'm not gonna do it on air. All right. Our podcast is a TV and streaming podcast, so this is kind of a step out of our lane. I want to get in this film because I've seen it, and I think a lot of people have, and it's worth a discussion. I don't think that we'll circle back around to it because we're taking such a long break, but everyone knows this. Film stars Cillian Murphy as J. Robert Oppenheimer. That's his name, right? Cillian? Is that?
Yeah. I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
Cillian, right?
That's what I've always said.
Yeah. Me too.
He's a Brit. You got Florence Pugh and Emily Blunt as the women in his life. Matt Damon as the general who gets Oppenheimer to work on and lead the Manhattan Project. Tony Stark himself, Robert Downey Jr. is in the film as a candidate for a White House position. That's it. How does that have anything to do with Oppenheimer? Well, that's part of the spoilery stuff you could get into, but okay, well, just know that I didn't really break any spoiler rules there. Christopher Nolan has already filmed the best scene in cinematic history ever.
Okay.
And it's not in Oppenheimer.
Where? Point it out to me.
Okay.
Where is it?
It's in Interstellar.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
He's in a rush, gets in his dually truck, or at least it's a pickup.
Yeah, it's something like that.
With a coffee mug, not one of the travel mugs, but a coffee mug, just a mug. And he rides around drives one-handed without spilling it.
I honestly forgot.
It's the greatest scene in
that.
cinematic history. Let me tell you guys, no CGI there. No CGI.
That's all skill.
That's skill, buddy.
Yeah.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, he's great.
I'm so glad that Nolan made this and not another director, because it proves that he does not need a puzzle story to be excellent, even more so than Dunkirk does. Even more so.
Yeah, because I guess with Dunkirk, like it's not really a puzzle, but there is that element of like how the timelines sync up. So you kind of were like, oh, how's it all going to converge?
Yeah. That's not a puzzle so much as
No, not really.
where's this going to land? If you follow me on Letterboxd, I don't know if you do. I'm there. Please, I welcome you. Say hello. You get your 5-star ranking choice. I gave this 4 out of 5.
Okay.
And I'm a low ranker. I'm famously low ranker.
That's interesting because people are falling over themselves over this movie. I mean, it's gotten rave reviews.
Matt Zoller Seitz gives one of the best written reviews. I encourage people go to rogerebert.com and read it. They give 4 stars out of 4. Or he gave it 4 stars out of 4. They do a 4-star system, which is odd. To me, I hope this isn't spoiler. I'm talking about the movie as a whole and even in the abstract. To me, it's a movie about not only what does a country owe its heroes, but what it can do with heroes who are set up as scapegoats, culprits, and disposable people.
Interesting.
And I haven't seen anybody write about it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. Yeah.
I felt like I had an original idea about that, and I'll just leave it here. I almost wrote about it, but
I was going to say, you got to write that down.
I don't think I will end up writing about it, but I'm not going to call it a tragedy because it doesn't fit the parameters of a tragedy, but it's sad to me in that way. Mm-hmm. Murphy is astounding.
He's always been very good, but I haven't seen him lead a movie since 28 Days Later.
Okay.
Which was a very different feel.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot about him as a lead.
He was good, right? I liked him in that.
Boy, that movie's good.
Yeah, it's very
Who directed that movie?
Danny Boyle, I think.
It's a Boyle movie. I know he plays one of the leads in Peaky Blinders, which I've never seen.
I've seen a couple episodes. It's fun.
Oh, he's not the lead?
No, he is the lead.
Okay.
I said, I've seen a couple and it's fun.
Oh,
but
I heard
he's that's the only, I'd only seen him as a lead in Peaky Blinders, and he's such like a background character so often. Like he's just he's always good, but he's just kind of there.
I mean, he's in every Christopher Nolan movie ever except for 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I was really curious if he could carry this big of a movie. This is a bigger movie than 28 Days.
Yeah.
Bigger. And he does.
It's 3 hours long, and you have to portray someone who...
I mean, he's not shooting
literally
guns.
shepherded, but for him, possibly the Manhattan Project would not have been pulled off.
Mm-hmm. He's not shooting guns. He's not in an action scene. He's not. It's a trick. It's a trick for he and Nolan to do. I mentioned Nolan working outside of the puzzle story. He also largely works outside of big blockbuster imaging in this movie.
Interesting.
Like I said, there's no guns, there's no time travel, there's no go to space. The bomb is almost a centerpiece of the movie, and it's like a mental reckoning or destruction of Oppenheimer in a way.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's well done. I also took away from this movie that the lives of so many people are decided in these closed spaces of rooms with men in them.
Yeah, I was...
And that's something Matt Zoller Seitz mentions, too.
I read an interview with Nolan before the movie came out. And somewhere, I can't remember where, but the interviewer was kind of asking him, what's the genesis of this? And he was like, well, I actually mentioned it in Tenet, that, the guys who did the hydrogen bomb, they were like, there's a non-zero chance we're going to set the atmosphere on fire and everyone will die. And they did it anyway. And so he's like, I got so interested in thinking about, there's a non-zero chance that we destroy the world and we're going to do it anyway. That's just scary. And it goes to exactly what you said, where it's these back rooms with men deciding, literally hundreds of thousands of lives.
And to be clear, not to belabor a point, in this time period, white men.
Yeah, certainly.
Men, not like mankind, men. Do we want to address some of the ridiculous discourse around the film that's come up?
There always seems to be, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone else, but like, because I'll see a film and it's like, I really wish it was doing X. But there does seem to be a tendency to be like, I'm going to talk about the movie I wanted to see and not the movie I actually saw.
Mm-hmm. I do that with television. I don't do it with movies as much. Natalie and I kind of get into it with Secret Invasion, where we're like, well, I wish it would have shown so-and-so. I try my damnedest on this podcast to focus on what the movie or show is. What's it giving you?
Yes. I do think it's fair for folks to, like, if there's something obviously missing, right? Like, I can't think of something off the top of my head right now, right? But if there's something that is like, if it's not there, it's almost disingenuous, like it's not telling the whole story, then I think that's fair. But I think you kind of, for most movies, I think it's like you kind of have to kind of watch them and see what they're doing and try and take them on their own terms.
That's it. You've got to, if you're gonna come at a movie honestly, yeah. Some of the major discourse that's happening is that nothing about Japan is really shown. But you know who else didn't see the Japanese victims when it happened? Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it. That's a point. I'm going to get into this. Donovan, you may not feel as comfortable as I talking about this, but I think the worst popular pop culture podcast is NPR's Pop Culture Happy Hour. You and I both used to be fans of.
They just, like, they got to the point where they would recommend something and I'd be like, well, I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
Because they'd start recommending things. I'm like, this is terrible. Like,
so I listened to their take on Oppenheimer recently, and this is my complaint with them. They always have to pick the most leftist stance, like the most leftist stance. Don't get me wrong. I agree with a lot on the left. But they have to pick the most leftist stance and argue for it in any piece of art, despite what the piece is attempting to do. For this movie, they honed in on the cheerful. There's this cheerful recognition of Oppenheimer where he's getting some claps, and they use the word grotesque to describe the scene.
Interesting,
dude. That probably really happened. He probably got cheers when he walked in this room, and I'm not going to go into the scene very much, but Glenn Weldon claims that Nolan cannot. No, let me backtrack. Glenn Weldon makes the claim that Nolan can only do narrative complexity.
Okay,
and I think that's a crock of shit. Can only do narrative complexity. Did he not watch Interstellar or Dunkirk? Even Inception has emotional complexity. He was saying he could only do narrative complexity and not emotional or spiritual complexity or intellectual complexity.
It's like, well, like you said earlier, they're not, like, his movies are fun, but they're not just puzzle boxes. Right?
They're not.
Everything has an engine that drives it.
They draw moviegoers because they are fun, sometimes action-packed, and are puzzles. They draw people in, including me. But if you watch it a second, third, fourth time, you realize, oh, there's an emotional heart of this about blah, 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 blah. Take Inception. It's about the relationship between Leonardo DiCaprio's character and that French actress. I forget her name.
Marion Cotillard. Yeah.
Oh, boy, she's good.
She's very good.
So I feel stupid forgetting her name. But it's about their relationship. The core of that movie is that. You have nothing without that. And that's an emotional, somewhat complex movie if you look at it from that lens. So he can only do narrative complexity is bullshit. Dunkirk is not like that. Interstellar is not quite like that. And Oppenheimer's not that. So 3 examples prove him wrong. 3 or 4. Of course, Weldon has to get cutesy. He always does his cutesy bit where he says, his exact quote was, Nolan gonna Nolan, about the timeline. Tell me a timeline that works for this movie that's just chronological. Tell me how that would work. No one's going to sit in a theater for 3 hours just to watch everything in the order.
It would be like a History Channel documentary or something. It would be awful.
Exactly. And that was actually a complaint by Weldon that the timeline isn't chronological, or at least he alludes to it being a complaint. The movie's fantastic. I still think it's a little long.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were some things I would have liked to see trim. There are 2 very minor scenes I think hindered it just a touch. Not bad. Mm-hmm. This movie stuck with me. I literally dreamed about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it got into my psyche. I can't wait for you to see it.
I'm very much looking forward to it, especially because I said this in text. But it looks good. But it's also like it's like Christopher Nolan is so interesting because he's kind of like the last guy that can do a big budget blockbuster that's not a franchise. That's an original idea.
Do you think Greta Gerwig is going to be able to get in that category?
I don't know. Maybe, she did. Lady Bird was great. Little Women's great. But also it seems like she's more in the franchise realm lately. So we'll see what happens.
Are you counting Barbie as a franchise?
Oh, yeah.
It does make sense that you would. And
then I think she inked some deal with Netflix to do some Chronicle of Narnia movies.
She did.
Chronicles of Narnia, yeah.
Yeah. So she claims she's pretty nervous about that.
I would be too.
Ooh, yeah, it's a big deal. We've come to the end of our episode. We're going to be off the month of August. We'll be back that last week of August 29th. I don't know. In the meantime, you probably catch up with us online, Taking It Down Pod, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, for a while, probably. We're going to see.
You mean X?
Yeah, for real. Really debating on getting off that platform. If people would track us down on Threads, it seems to be that's going to be the replacement. Threads has actually added it used to be just your timeline was whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've got a place where it's just specifically what you're following.
Oh, yeah.
Like Twitter.
That's good. Yeah.
So we might try to switch almost everything over to it. If you want to follow us at Threads, it's Taking It Down Pod. Same thing on Instagram. Same thing on Twitter while it lasts. Here's the deal. We'll be back August 29th. And I'm dead serious. Let us know who you are. If you're a listener, say, yeah, I listen weekly or I listen some. And because we want you to be a name and not just a number, a name and a face. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts. You can catch up on a few episodes. Maybe you're just now finishing The Bear. We've got 2 episodes on it. We break it into 2 parts. In the meantime, you can watch unedited versions of this show on YouTube, which is maybe how you're watching now. Listen to us in your podcast app. Whatever you want, we try to make it user-friendly. Use our link tree. Find all of the Alabama Takes podcasts. Man, we've got a few. We've got 7 total. Yep, they're all there. The great thing about the link tree is you can click on it, and it'll give you your option on how you want to listen. Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast. You can pick your poison. Thanks so much, everyone. Get some rest, catch up on TV. Donovan and I are going to do the same. Adam and Natalie are going to come back from Europe, and maybe we can talk them into some full circle watching. Hey, the Star Wars
Natalie
show
will not watch it. It is stressful.